Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here. It's been a surprisingly busy week for Star Trek news. Earlier this week, I thought the big story would of course be the reveal of the Star Trek Prodigy cast and characters. However, today, Captain Picard Day, Paramount has seen fit to release a trailer for Season 2 of Picard. Now, we did get a little teaser back in April. This is a full trailer, over a minute long, with actual footage from the show. So in this video, I'm planning on breaking down this trailer, briefly talking about each shot that we get, and speculating a bit about what is going to be happening in Season 2 of Star Trek Picard, coming in 2022, as it says at the end of the trailer. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see what we can find. We begin with a shot of the Picard family Vineyard. We hear in the background Picard calling out for Laris. Laris, you may remember, is one of Picard's housekeepers of Romulan origin, whom we met in Season 1. Laris is not answering back, and Picard seems very confused that he is unable to locate her. We see Picard walk into this room here, and if you'll notice, he's wearing some sort of Starfleet insignia on his chest, unfamiliar to any that we've seen before. This one's slightly larger and silver in color. Picard, frustrated, says, "What the hell is happening here?" and hangs his head in confusion. To Picard's surprise, he hears a familiar voice respond, "Excellent question, Jean-Luc." The voice is, of course, of Q, played by John Delancey, reprising his role from Star Trek The Next Generation. Q says, "Oh dear, you're a bit older than I imagined," which kind of plays into how a lot of us thought Q might appear in this season. John Delancey, the actor, has of course aged quite a bit along with everyone else in the intervening years, and Q does not look like he used to. So from this little bit in the trailer, it seems that he is kind of aging himself up in order to better match how he encounters Picard. It's a nice little storytelling conceit that kind of sidesteps the issue of the aging of the actor. And here we get our first real glimpse of Q himself, as I said, looking older than he did during TNG and Voyager, and he says, "Mon capitaine, how I've missed you." Dressed very dapperly here as well, I have to say. Q has definitely evolved a fashion sense since last we saw him, not just showing up in a Starfleet uniform, but in a civilian outfit, kind of like what Picard usually wears, so he's still kind of matching what Picard is wearing. Picard, of course, acknowledges that it is, in fact, Q, with kind of a tinge of dread in his voice. Q looks back at him with that typically piercing gaze of his. I'm really excited to see this character back. I'm a big fan of John Delancey and the character of Q, so yeah, I'm really excited to see how he fits into this season, which seems to have a lot of time travel shenanigans that we will get into as the trailer progresses. Next, we get this shot of the seal of Starfleet Command, and the shot fades into this shot of Picard at a podium with officers on either side of him, with a number of flags of various governments. We see a Bajoran flag, a Vulcan flag, Ferengi, Starfleet Academy, Starfleet Command, the United Federation of Planets. I'm not sure exactly what this one here is, but we see a Klingon flag over on the far left as well. The officers around him, for the most part, I don't really recognize. This one here could be Raffi, going by the division color and the hair, but not entirely certain if that is her. These uniforms, I should note, are slightly different than the ones we saw in Season 1 of Star Trek Picard. They do have the same badge, showing that they're modern edition of the Starfleet uniform, but if you look here on this person who I think might be Raffi, there's a seam running down the left breast that wasn't there on the other uniforms. Next, we get this closer-up shot of Picard, and it's definitely an Admiral's uniform that we've not seen before. So it's possible that this is an alternate timeline of some sort. We know that Picard retired from Starfleet before these uniforms, before this style of uniform was introduced. So yeah, not sure exactly what's happening here. We do know that there's some sort of time travel shenanigans happening where history is being changed and that sort of thing. And it kind of matches the voiceover that we hear Q say when he says, "Welcome, my friend, to the very end of the road not taken." The road not taken, of course, referring to choices that Picard has made differently in his life. We see here that at this time he's still a member of Starfleet. So maybe this is a vision shown to him by Q, or maybe this is in fact an altered timeline in the course of the show. While Q is giving his voiceover, we see these two people running through this darkened street. I'm not entirely certain who they are. It's kind of hard to make out their details. The one on the right may be Raffi. I'm not sure. Again, I cannot really see her face. She's got similar coloring, similar colored hair, and that sort of thing. I'm thinking the one on the left, if it's anybody we know, could possibly be Elnor. He looks like a young man with long hair, definitely more unkempt than we've seen him before. If you'll note the body lying on the ground behind them, though, I don't know if this is the result of recent violence that they are running from, or if this body has maybe been there for a while, or it's somebody passed out. This does seem to be kind of a dystopia, kind of weird, possibly alternate future. Next, we get this shot of Laris. I'm so excited that Laris is back this season. She was, along with Zhaban, one of my absolute favorite characters to be introduced in Star Trek Picard. I thought she was wonderful in the role, and I'm really, really happy to see her back. I don't know if Zhaban is coming back. I hope so. I really liked him as well. Next, we get this shot of, I'm assuming, Soji in front of a fountain. She has a very different hairstyle and look to her than she did in the last season. An unknown woman, I'm not sure who it is, says in the voiceover, "Time has been broken." And while we get that, we see this shot of Dr. Jurati. And then this interesting shot of Rios aboard La Serena. However, he's wearing a strange uniform, kind of dark black uniform with these fingerless gloves, sporting a large Starfleet insignia unlike any we've seen before, similar or the same as the one that Picard was wearing in that first little bit of the trailer. Now, I want to direct your attention towards the captain's chair as well. It's got that Starfleet symbol on it, kind of in a dark red with a stark black and white to it, looking very martial, very imperial. This, to me, is likely the altered timeline that we see in this trailer that Picard will talk about having to get home from. So I'm envisioning a Yesterday's Enterprise style story where something has changed reality into a different kind of timeline or a different reality, and it's up to them to fix something in the past to cause reality to go back to normal. Again, a similar storyline to what we've seen before in Yesterday's Enterprise and other episodes of Star Trek. I always love these stories. Alternate realities and changed timelines are always a lot of fun, so I'm really excited for this season of Picard, really letting their imaginations run wild and do interesting things with the show. And here's a close-up of that insignia that I was talking about. Again, not like any Starfleet insignia we've seen before, definitely changed and altered. And we get Picard's voiceover during this part. He says, "We can save the future, and I will get us home together." From there, we go to this small sequence with 7 of 9 waking up in this fairly fancy and ostentatious bedroom, confused, out of sorts. She seems kind of disoriented. And then she catches a glimpse of her reflection in the mirror and realizes she's missing the Borg components, her Borg implants that she is, of course, very familiar with. So very confusing for her, of course. This would seem to probably be the result of a changed timeline, which brings in an interesting aspect to the storyline. If the timeline has changed and it's up to Picard and the crew to kind of fix things and make it right again, if 7 of 9 now exists in a reality where she was not assimilated by the Borg and did not experience that horrific trauma, is that something that she will necessarily want to erase? Or will she kind of be compelled to remain in this reality that maybe, I don't know, this is all speculation, but maybe has gone much better for her? So I'm curious if that's kind of a way the writers are going here. It would be interesting to kind of explore some of those ideas. We also see her look down at this insignia in a box of some kind. I'm not sure what this is an insignia of, but it definitely has a very strange feeling to it. I'm thinking this is maybe some sort of organization that she's belonging to in this alternate timeline. I'm assuming probably not an organization for good. I don't know. This is all just a guess, but it's definitely the impression I'm getting from this trailer. From there, we go to the Star Trek Picard title with new season coming 2022 at the bottom. So still a ways to wait for the season 2 of Picard, but I'm very excited. This trailer looks like a lot of fun. I'm very interested in kind of the strange timey-wimey aspects and any stories that kind of involve that. I know some people are very tired of time travel stories. I'm really curious to see where this goes, so I'm quite excited. Now, something else that we need to talk about that was released today is a new poster for season 2 of Picard as well. And you may recall there was that leaked photo from the shooting of Picard from a few weeks ago or a couple months ago that showed, I think it was Seven and Raffi aboard a kind of modern transit bus, indicating that there would be time travel back in time to probably the 21st century or pretty close to modern times. Now, with this poster, we kind of get confirmation of that. This looks to be kind of the LA freeway system with Star Trek Picard in the middle and the freeways making up the Star Trek Delta. New season coming 2022 at the bottom. Now, something interesting that was pointed out about this is the MTA building, which is visible on the skyline here, has been used as the ChronoWorks building in the Star Trek Voyager two-parter Future's End, parts 1 and 2, when they go back in time to 1996 LA. So it would be interesting to see if we see that building in the show close up, will it say ChronoWorks on it? I think that would be a wonderful idea and a lot of fun for sure. So I want to hear from all of you. What do you think of this trailer? Are you excited for season 2 of Picard? I sure as heck know that I am. I'm really looking forward to watching it along with all of you. Can't wait to talk about it more on this channel. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks to the Patreon supporters for all of your help in bringing these videos to all of my viewers. I really couldn't do it without you. To everyone else, thank you again for watching. Please like and share if you felt this video was worthy, and subscribe to Kertrats Productions if you haven't already for all of the news and information coming out for all of the Star Trek series that are currently in production, all 5 of them, believe it or not. Really, really exciting time to be a fan of Star Trek. I've been Dan Gunther. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, as always, live long and prosper.